my added reflections are on that are I've had lots of dreams that have depicted me doing amazing yet terrifying things, like performing burlesque for my Fit for Service community, for example. That was one that I had a dream about, and I was like, I have to do that. I can do that. I felt it. I did it. I'm being led there. That one was so clear. So that's an example of one. Um, but they depict me doing things that are like outside of my comfort zone because on a soul level, I've already done these things. And it's my soul reminding me and showing me what I'm capable of and what to do next. The easy path is a story. It might not make things easier in the long run. I'm getting the sense of, taking the easy route now. Maybe that's not the lesson I'm supposed to learn. Maybe I'm supposed to take the hard route now, just do something more difficult, challenge myself so that I can learn something from it. Because what do we really learn from doing easy things? Okay, so the next interpretation I got was that the news reporters were the external negative stories that I've internalized over the years and am presented with now. And I elaborated on that and sort of named out some of these stories. Some of them I'm going to keep to myself because they involve other people. But these are the ones I will bring up. So shame is an overwhelming emotion of these stories, is shame. And the voices I feel are other people's voices, society's voices, government voices, my parents' voices, authority figures' voices throughout my life. And some of these stories are being poor means you're inferior. If your business isn't successful, it's a direct reflection of you and your worth. When you have money, you get money. People don't want to give broke people money because they'll mismanage it. Women become strippers because they've got daddy issues. They have no other skills, not because they want to, and as a last resort. Strippers hide their work and don't talk about it lest it bring themselves and all they associate with pain and shame. I'm going to turn out like my parents. My mom and I are a direct reflection of each other. Mental illness is shameful, abnormal, and shouldn't be talked about. Going into a therapist is for white people. When you have a mentally ill loved one, it's best to either make them act normal or disassociate from them for fear of embarrassment that others will think that you're crazy too. So yeah, those are the stories. I know on a soul level that these stories are not true. And this is why I've decided that like these are all the stories that I'm releasing with this fast. And so, yeah, I want them gone. They're holding me back in so many ways. And so, yeah, anywho, we're going to continue interpretation of this dream. So the people that I run into, that we somehow end up with at the end at the strip mall, the black strip mall with all the people there, I feel that those people are community and family. Yeah, I felt sort of like emotionally distant from them. Honestly, I haven't been in like a black strip mall in forever. So I think that that feeling is coming from a very true place for me. So yeah. Um, but in this dream, they sort of acted like a savior or like a protective barrier. Like once I ended up there, all the news reporters were gone. There were no police. It was just my people. And I generally felt that although a relationship with them had been distant, that they still love me and they've loved me all along. And we might not always have the same views or lifestyle choices. That it doesn't matter because love transcends that. My next interpretation piece is that society and the police have systematically controlled, abused, and repressed awakened or spiritual individuals, and they can't be trusted in that regard. That's also a story that I that informs the story that I'm not safe to be my fully awakened self, lest people try to control me or hurt me. And I feel that in the dream, they didn't want me to disturb that fertility goddess because they didn't want me to realize myself. Wow. To elaborate on that bit, things that come to mind with that are witch hunts, imprisonment, insane asylums, medicating, organized religion, repression of the occult, and discrediting. So all those things come to mind, elaborating on that little bit. I had other dreams last night. I had a dream about Oya. In this dream, I was in a mall. No, I was in a school, and I was like a middle schooler, and I was a middle schooler, and someone was attacking the school, and they were trying to get us all inside the school to hide or to a specific spot. And I was like, that doesn't seem like the smart thing to do, so I'm not going to do that. So I found a way to escape the school. There was a school official chasing after me for a bit, but I was able to lock a door behind me so that they couldn't come the way I was going. So I got outside. There were more fences and gates, but I was opening them and going through them, which is great. They weren't impeding me. And I got to one, and there was like a murderous looking white man. And I was like, oh, maybe he was what people were concerned about inside the school. So I was running, and somehow I end up falling, and he catches up to me, and he's about to hurt me. And then I start praying to Oya, and then all of a sudden, like, her energy, like, she feels me, like feels my body, and like I am Oya, and I feel electric, and I just, like, there's just like a burst of energy out of me, and I feel so powerful, and I'm smiling, and I'm like, no, motherfucker, like, not today. And then the dream ends there. So that's the other dream I had. Last night was a busy night, if you haven't noticed. So it was also interesting regarding my desire to like purge and release these thought forms, is that before bed I was brushing my teeth, brush, and I was coughing up phlegm. I'm prone to phlegm, so I was coughing it up as I usually do, and then like all of a sudden I just like vomited. I just like threw up. Like I'd eaten like a pot pie for dinner, and I threw it up. And not all of it, but it doesn't matter how much of it. You get what I'm saying. And there's two things that are interesting about that, important to note. One, I wasn't hungry when I ate that pot pie. I ate that pot pie because I was nervous for this fast, and was thinking, oh, I should eat some food. That way the next day I'm not hungry. It doesn't work like that, but that's what my logical brain was telling me. And I wasn't hungry when I ate it. And when I was eating it, it didn't taste that good either. It wasn't like they made it poorly. It just tasted sort of bland and flavorless. And I thought that was weird. And so, and the other thing that's interesting about that is that for a very long time since college, I have had a block around vomiting. Like, I made a promise to myself after I got really blackout drunk one night that I was never going to get to the point where I like had to vomit from getting drunk. I was never going to get to that point again. And that story sort of started to encompass any scenario where I might need to vomit. Like if I got food poisoning, like I got food poisoning once, and I ate like this pizza like at 7 p.m. I was feeling terrible. My stomach felt terrible, and I was feeling nauseous, and I held that in until like 3 or 4 a.m. when I was woken up in the middle of the night, and and then I uncontrollably vomited. Like, I could have saved myself a lot of discomfort and pain if I hadn't had a block there. So it applied to other things. But when this happened, when I threw up last night, it just came out of nowhere. It didn't hurt. It wasn't unpleasant. And I didn't have any of those negative thoughts that I usually have around vomiting, or any of the shame, or any of the like, oh no, like this is bad. That story didn't come up at all. So for me, reflecting on this, it feels like that purging process of thought forms has already started. It's different. It's like, I didn't even realize that one was gone until I threw up. It was like, oh, when did I get rid of that limiting belief? When did I get rid of that story? I guess it doesn't matter. And that's a reminder to every single person watching this who goes through psychedelic experiences, or who does like an intense breath work, or has experiences that they can't make sense of, and that they feel like, did anything even happen? Or they go through them and it feels like nothing's happening. Things are happening. You just don't realize it yet. And this moment of experiencing this thing that before would have extremely triggered me and brought up a lot of things, didn't bring up anything at all. So just trust that it's working for you, because it's working for you. And so I feel really, really good coming into this ceremony. I really do. And the dream I had last night, it really made me realize that I haven't really connected with Oya very much, with her energy, with learning about her too much. I did when I first chose that to be my middle name. But since then, I really hadn't. I'd focused a lot on Asha, because that's the first name. I generally feel like my outward appearance can be like fiery and bright and strong, all those things. But connecting with Oya is I feel like Oya is my soul, is what it feels like. Oya is my soul. And last night reminded me that I want to connect with her more and harness and channel that energy. I actually did a short prayer before bed, just praying to Oya, telling her that I'm going to fast tomorrow, and that I ask for her help with cutting away and releasing all these old stories and thoughts that don't serve me anymore. And I went to bed. And so prayer is powerful. Prayer is so powerful. I'll for sure do a report to you guys tomorrow. I'll be doing the ceremony over again to Oya, and today will be a pretty, I don't know what today's gonna hold, so I'm not gonna say that. But Oya will be on my mind all day. And so thank you so much for watching this, and for listening. And yeah, it really means a lot to me to be able to share this aspect of like my spiritual life with you guys, because it's become words are so hard sometimes. The amount of change and peace that it's brought to my just everyday life is invaluable. So I am working on some content around prayer for y'all. So, because I believe that this needs to be shared, and I know some of y'all have some strong resistance to prayer, and I was there too. I was absolutely there. And then I had a perspective shift on it all, and I want to help y'all get that too. So Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love you. And please have a wonderful, wonderful day.